case I've ever seen.
Yeah, when was it burning down there?
Oh
shit, we're recording. Oh my god. Okay,
no.
okay.
What are we gonna do?
Oh shit. I'll edit it out.
And then my wife said.
Okay. All right. So yeah, hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of J-Dog and Rye Bread.
That's right. That's me. Yeah.
Rye bread.
Marble rye.
You know that like really dry bread?
Yeah, I put a little butter on it, but it's still like
Yeah, it's like my 8th favorite bread.
8th? Oh, I thought maybe it would have been like your 4th, but okay.
No. Oh god,
Oh.
plain, stale, and ugly like your face.
Oh, wow.
Bam. But yeah, welcome to episode 2. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast, and everyone, thanks for supporting my channel in general. And if you still have not watched the first episode, it's on the channel. It was released about a week ago. Yeah. A week ago, and
exactly a week ago because it would have been on Friday.
Yeah. So check it out. If you've not checked out that episode, please check it out. Give us the like, comment below. If you have any ideas, let us know. We're open to listen. Always open for new ideas. We're just starting out.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So we're always open to new ideas and exploring new things. And if you guys want us to talk about something in particular, let us know, and we'll put it on the list.
Yeah, put it in the comments. We always read all of them. We are very interested because again, we are just starting out. So we love to hear your feedback. And
of course. And so it's been a week.
It has. It's been a long week.
What have you been doing lately?
Mostly just surviving. It is a pandemic.
It is a pandemic, yes.
Kind of social distancing and
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. Just basically, doing very simple things.
What do you do? Like, you tell people what you're doing.
Well, right now I'm actually playing Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy, great game,
yes,
great game.
Yes.
The PS4 version.
Yes. I also do have the original. I bought that little PS1 that was like $100, and then it dropped to like $40 after like a month or so because nobody bought it. So I have that. Haven't played it yet, but I'm gonna play the PS4 one, and then apparently it is not the full story. Yeah. So after I beat that, I'm gonna go to my PS1, plug that in, soup it up, and then play the whole game. And because I remember as a kid, but I never really played it because I was very young. I didn't understand it, but I've always had an interest in it.
Yeah.
So this is just re-sparked that interest, and I am loving what I'm playing and seeing so far in the game.
Cool.
So I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah. Game of the year, maybe?
No, I have my game of the year personally right now is, I don't know if a lot of people are going to like this, but
go ahead, say it.
It is The Last of Us Part 2. Mm-hmm. To me, it is a grueling, emotional game that just, it's a lot of gray area in the game. And I just don't mean that because it takes place in Seattle.
Seahawks fan, huh?
Yeah. But I could talk all day about the game and what I like about it, and I don't want to get into that right now because again, I don't want to.
We know.
We've had many.
We know. We've had many talks. We've had talks.
It's one word for it.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe not civil, but yeah.
I personally think Ghost of Tsushima is gonna be game of the year, but I that's just my guess.
I think honestly, I think that's gonna be a close second running, or if it is as good as it's the 7 years of hype have been, Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk.
Yes.
They're gonna say Crash Bandicoot 4.
Oh. Hey, I wouldn't be.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. I wouldn't be bad against that.
We'll see though. We'll see. For me, what I've been doing the week is posting videos and playing Fall Guys, the Jelly Bean game.
Oh.
It is a very that game makes you just want to just quit life. Just I've wanted to like rip my hair out, what little hair I have left. It's fucking hard. It's you're falling off cliffs. You're losing races. You're getting hugs that is killing you. God. It's stressful.
It's like a stressful family reunion.
I've never seen jelly beans make me this angry.
Damn.
Just,
I don't even like jelly beans.
Yeah, I've thought of suicide this entire week.
Wow.
This game has pushed me to the brink of suicide.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how stressful it is.
Ooh,
I'm kidding, by the way.
Whoa.
But yeah, it's a great game, but my God, it's infuriating. What inspired my top 10 list I just posted posted the other day. So
I just saw you playing it today, you and your girlfriend Lindsay. And,
yeah.
It looks interesting, but I don't know if it's something I play.
It's not for everybody.
No.
It's it's kind of like a game you'd think be for kids, but only adults are playing it.
Yeah. It's kind of odd, but I get, nothing else to do, so.
I feel like it's odd that adults play like kid games and kids play like adult games.
Yeah.
Like Lindsay plays Rainbow Six Siege, and she's playing against like 13-year-old kids.
Mm.
Then when you play Fall Guys, you're playing against like 30-year-old dudes, so it's weird.
Speaking of those type of games, for kids and adults, what is your view on this little game, that maybe not a lot of people have heard of called Fortnite?
Oh, dear Lord. I think it's overrated.
You think it's overrated?
I'm not a Fortnite.
Right.
I'm not a Fortnite guy. You're a Fortnite guy?
I played the odd time, but it's okay. I think it is overhyped a bit.
I don't like tournament style, like Fall Guys, but I don't like that arena shooter games like Fortnite, Apex, Dauntless, all the PUBG. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of those games. They're not for me.
I played the odd time. I have it on my PS4. Sometimes I'll boot it up and just. What I'll do is I literally just like there's 100 people in the match. I will literally just camp somewhere in like a shed and just wait until like maybe there's like 20 or 10 people left, and then I'll just go out and like kill a few people and then die. And I'm like, all right, that was it. If I have to like kill like 20 minutes or half an hour, that's what I do.
So would you call yourself a Fortnite fan?
I like the idea of it. I just don't like the practicality of it. So
you're not Fortnite.
I wouldn't. No, I'm not. No, and I think the idea of spending money on something like those in-game purchases, like if you spend like V-Bucks or whatever, but you actually have to pay real money to get V-Bucks. It's like for $10 you can get this. It's like I think it's a waste, and I know that's how they make their money and everything because it is a free-to-play game, but I think that's the biggest rip ever when you have to make in-game purchases with real money.
Yeah.
So that's just my view. I don't like microtransactions. I don't like any of that crap. So yeah.
You're as much as a Fortnite fan as Brie Larson is. So she loves Nintendo, by the way. Anyways, let's talk about movie theaters.
Yes,
we work at a movie theater.
We do.
We are going back to our movie theater tomorrow.
Yes,
tomorrow we are going back, and it's gonna be interesting to say the least.
Yes.
I think it is absolutely insane that we are going back to the theater. I think we're gonna shut down again, but who knows? I could be wrong. I think it's a waste of time. I don't know why we're opening up again, but apparently, like, we're getting movies. SpongeBob, the Russell Crowe movie, Unhinged.
Oh, the Road Rage movie.
That's gonna be an Oscar-winning film, I think. That's gonna win Oscars, man. I'm telling you.
He's gotten
fat,
beefy. I was gonna say.
I'll just flat out say it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He's a fat fuck.
Yeah, he's gotten a little. You look at Gladiator.
Yeah, that Maximus put on some weight.
Peak fitness, and then all of a sudden, he hit the dessert menu, and then he is.
He went from Maximus to Jarrell to fat bastard.
He went from Maximus to Gigantimus.
I was like, wow, it's and. I kind of looks like I bet any money. He's probably the best part of the whole movie. He's probably ridiculously over the top.
It feels like a B movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I find it interesting, because I think it knows what it is for that over the topness of literally a guy like, let's make a movie, but a guy who loses his shit at road rage is like, okay, that's relatable. But this guy just goes over the top. So
#, give us a Nice Guys 2. I loved that movie. No one saw it. No one saw it.
I saw that opening day in the theater, one of the theaters in Barrie, and my goodness, was it a
great movie. I loved it.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
It was funny. Ryan Gosling was funny. Russell Crowe was funny. And Russell Crowe's not a funny guy, but he was funny in that movie.
They were a great pairing.
But no one saw it. I saw it opening night. There was like 5 people in the theater. No one saw it.
No, it was.
That's bullshit. That movie was great.
It was.
Shane Black even said, even when you watch the special features on the Blu-ray, he says, I would make sequels for this movie for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But he's not going to because no one saw the movie.
No, which is a shame, because it's a well done movie. It's great acting. It's great writing. Mm-hmm. It's just a beautiful movie.
You know what it is? It's a Lethal Weapon of our time. It's like a
Lethal Weapon was successful. They had 4 movies, which all of them
are great.
There's not a bad one in them. And you think as series go on, they get worse and worse. But this one just You know, maybe there are like one that is like better than the rest, but like they're all equally like
Sergeant.
Sergeant. They're all equally like they all got their own thing, and they just kept getting. I don't know if they got better, but like they're all equally good.
Getting too old for this poop. You know, actually, when I saw Lethal Weapon 2, I was afraid of toilets for a long time.
Oh, right. Because
I was afraid of toilets.
When I was a kid, I saw that. I'm like, that happened to me.
I'm like, is there a bomb on my toilet?
That's got to be a way to go, though.
Like, you take a great shit, and then you just die.
You literally have the John to yourself, and then just, before you know it, you're dead. Kaboom!
Like, I'd rather die by death by snoo than death by toilet. But movie theaters, I think Canada, are we getting Tenet?
So the game plan right now, as the news is saying, is basically for the first time ever. So what would happen with whenever new release rolls out is the States would get it first, and then we would get it because it would premiere in the States. However, because of the pandemic going on, and most of the theaters in the States have forced to close because they're not deemed necessary, and because the U.S. doesn't know how to control themselves with the pandemic because they have a very interesting leader, let's say. But that's another topic. Anyway, so for the first for the first time ever, Canada is getting these movies first, and Europe too. So we are getting the New Mutants next week. I'm actually excited to see that because it's I just want to see it at this point. We're getting Tenet, Wonder Woman.
Looks good.
I'm thinking, just any new releases that are on track, we are still getting, as long as we keep everything under control. We don't have to shut down again, but from the looks of it, we're okay.
Wouldn't it be hilarious? We just open up for a week and we shut down. Literally, 7 days later, like, afraid not.
Honestly, I think that I don't know if that will happen, but maybe not a week, maybe a month, because we won't see a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to go to the movie because you literally go into the theater, you have to wear a mask, which I get and I support, to keep everybody safe. But then you're going to sit in a dark room for just under 2 hours with a mask on the whole time, breathing in ventilated air that's not even properly ventilated, with people you don't know. You're sitting in a seat where you don't know if the person cleaned or not and who sat there before. It's another risk. Whereas restaurants are different. You don't eat inside, you eat outside. You have air all around you, there's wind, you're separated, right?
Yeah.
You're only there for 20 minutes, whatever, 30 minutes, and you're gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if a movie theater is a good idea. I don't know if we're going to get a lot of people. I don't think so. I personally, and I think you share this view too, don't really want to go to the theater.
No.
One, because I don't really want to, again, I support wearing a mask, but personally, I don't want to wear a mask during a movie because I won't enjoy it. Not because it's, for safety, which I agree with. I would rather, if I had a choice, I'd rather either watch at the drive-in, which I can just stay in my car, or at home, which apparently a lot of studios are turning to.
I want to see Tenet.
Yes.
I want to see Wonder Woman. I don't want to go to a movie theater to see it. I want to see Bill and Ted. I want to see these movies, but I don't want to go to a theater and see them. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't feel safe, and I just don't want to do it.
Exactly.
I don't feel safe.
I think people.
I'm not going to risk my health to go see the new Christopher Nolan movie.
I think you should. It's implied. If you have to open up a theater, yes, you should have all the safety measures and like that. But I support wearing a mask in that. But personally, I wouldn't get the same enjoyment wearing a mask and watching a movie for 2 hours.
You're supposed to eat popcorn with a fucking mask.
You take down the mask, but then
that's just weird. Then
what do you do if you're in the theater and you see somebody who's not wearing the mask? They take it down. Do you go get somebody there and then they have to come in and tell them to put on their mask? It's like
as soon as they take that mask off, they're not going to put it back on.
No. Would you?
No.
Because it's you don't want to. As
soon as they take that mask off and eat their popcorn and drink their drink, someone's going to come in and like, oh, take that mask. I'm like, no, I mean my popcorn. Like, oh, I'm not going to put my mask on.
Very predictable. It's very.
It's very flawed. Like the system's flawed.
It is. But I understand why the movie theaters have to open because it is a business. They have to make money. Right now, without being open, they're losing money. But they have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until there's a cure next spring or whenever.
2057.
100 years from now, whatever. As we're old men, but
we're gonna be like 95 years old. Have they cured the COVID yet? Grandpa, they cured it 70 years ago. What are you talking about? The COVID.
What's my cure?
COVID-19.
Jimmy, is that you? I just want my cure.
My penis fell off because of COVID. No, right, that was because you pet a cheetah. All those new slacks.
Did you say you have Cheetos?
Cheetos? I love Cheetos.
I lost my bag of Cheetos and now.
Oh my lord. Who else is horny?
Get
But
over here, Bobber.
you know what makes me laugh is the listings we have for our theater.
Oh my goodness.
We have SpongeBob,
Yes.
Unhinged, The Invisible Man, Bloodshot, and Spider-Man: Far From Home,
Which came out
last
over a year.
year.
ago.
That movie's been on Blu-ray in 4K for like 10 months, 11 months now. No one's gonna go to the fucking movie theater to see Spider-Man: Far From Home. No one saw Bloodshot when it came out. Are they gonna go see it now? The Invisible Man didn't even do like amazing, anyways. But it
It's
can't.
good, but it's not gonna.
But it's
this
already
is all
out,
stuff that's out now. Which
it's already
you
out to
can view
buy.
at home.
It's already out to buy.
It's not an exclusive where it's in theaters. Like, ooh, I gotta see it.
Yeah.
No
No one's gonna go see those movies.
SpongeBob is playing 10 times.
Like,
Who-
and no one's gonna go see Unhinged. I'm sorry, no one's
As
gonna
a
go see
parent,
that.
if you were a parent right now, would you bring your kids to the theater?
No,
All right, little Jimmy, little Susan, you got to put on your face mask.
we're gonna go
Okay,
see Unhinged.
We're gonna go see Unhinged.
Wait,
You're
wait.
right. But it's like, would you actually? And I've seen people. It's like if I had kids right now, I'd be like, all right, Disney Plus, click it on. You guys can watch that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go spend whatever amount of money. Plus, it's not safe.
I don't care. Keanu Reeves is in the movie. I'm not going to see SpongeBob.
Plus, I love him. No, I'll watch him from the cover.
Unless they send me like a free copy so I can go watch it on my TV, I'm not going.
Unless they personally pay me to go see it, I won't go see it in the theater because
No one's
Not for the
going.
movie, just because
Nobody's
safety-wise.
going
No.
to the theater. It's a waste. It's
Yeah.
a waste. Anyways,
moving on.
Next topic. Let's
Yes.
talk about like a comedy. Top 10 my top 10 favorite comedy. I'd say it's like my 10th favorite comedy of all time. Tropic Thunder.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Written, directed, produced by Ben Stiller.
one the only.
Stars Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., Tom Cruise, Matthew McConaughey, Brendan T. Jackson, JayVaters, huge cast.
I have a question for you now that you've reminded me of that movie.
Yeah.
Honest opinion, do you think that movie could get made today?
No.
Remember, this was made 11 years ago. With the culture run, could it get made today?
No fucking way.
Why do you personally think it could not get made today?
Cancel culture.
Okay.
The reason is people are offended by little things now. Look at Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones, the stand-up comedian. He made a lot of jokes. People were pissed off at him.
Oh yes.
I thought the jokes were hilarious.
Yes.
What does Tropic Thunder make fun of? People with mental handicaps. They make fun of black people. They make fun of a lot of things that people would get very, very pissed off. SJWs, all that kind of shit. They would get livid by that movie,
Yes.
even though it's one of the funniest films ever. Jamie Foxx loves the movie.
Oh yeah.
Loves the movie. A lot of people love the movie.
It is a good movie.
Yeah.
I think it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Every time I think of it, I think of a new thing that just makes me laugh. Like McConaughey.
The Pecker.
Yeah. Yep. He says something that kids today wouldn't understand.
Mm.
His whole mission, the whole movie, is to get his actor TiVo.
TiVo.
Got TiVo.
It's TiVo. And the end of the movie, he's throwing the TiVo at the rocket launcher that a 10-year-old kid is shooting because the villain is a 10-year-old kid
Yes.
who runs Flaming Dragon. I love it's like a little 10-year-old child. He's got like a freaking RPG, shoots it at the helicopter. The Matthew McConaughey throws the TiVo and blows. I'm like, what is happening?
Now, for people who don't understand, maybe younger listeners,
Yeah.
because again, it is a lot of people don't know what it is. What is TiVo?
TiVo is like a device that it records television shows.
Yes.
Like if you're working or something. Back in the day, back in the 90s, when people said, I'm taping a show, like they had the blank VHS tapes and like they were taping a show.
Yes.
TiVo was almost more advanced of that.
So it was a digital. So instead of recording on a tape, you recorded onto a digital machine.
Yeah. So you got all the recordings of all your shows.
Yeah.
And when you get home, you have all of them laid out for you and stuff. You could pick the times of what time the show is going on.
Right.
It'll just automatically record it and stuff. That's what a TiVo is.
Right.
But no one wants TiVo anymore. You know why? Streaming services.
I think TiVo ended around. I think it was 2005 to 2011.
Yeah. It was like
it was that for now, but now it makes no sense to have TiVo.
TiVo lived to be a kindergarten and then just died. No one knows what TiVo is. No one gives a shit.
It had its peak in Tropic, and then just once he threw it and it got blew up, that was the end of TiVo.
But get back on Tropic Thunder. That movie can't get made today because it is a very raunchy film. It's not because it's raunchy though. It's the things that they're satirizing, and a lot of people don't realize it's a joke.
It is a satire.
Yeah. And some people like to debate. I think this is no debate at all, but some people say a joke at someone's dispense is not a joke. I'm like,
which I kind of agree with.
Yes.
It's weird. This is where it gets very gray.
But I'm like, then you will never be able to tell a joke at all.
Yes. You're
always going to offend somebody.
The whole point of a joke is to make someone laugh. It's to look at something that's very serious and maybe like laugh at it, because that's a good way of responding to it. It's not because you're making fun of it. It's because it releases some tension.
Look at some of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. They're all offensive. All of them. George Carlin.
Yes.
One of the most offensive guys ever. He's the greatest comedian I've ever seen in my life. Eddie Murphy. Very offensive.
What was the name of the who am I thinking of?
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
One of the greatest stand-up comedians ever made.
My goodness, yes.
Extremely offensive.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle's a very offensive guy.
Yeah.
Anthony Jeselnik's a very offensive guy. Russell Peters makes fun of his own culture.
Yes.
That is his running joke, is making fun of his own culture.
Yes, and he even acknowledges that.
Yeah. He makes fun of everybody. He makes fun of Jewish people, he makes fun of black people, he makes fun of white people, he makes fun of Asians, he makes fun of everybody. Everybody.
Here's the thing, I draw the line if it actually is like, how do I word this? If there's actually hate behind it, then I have an issue with it. Then it's like, okay,
I think
that's not fun.
When you are, I always find if you are asking someone to do something harmful, they call it a call to action. When you're saying something that may sound hateful, but it's not, if you're not called to action, like when you're saying a joke, go to this house and shoot this person, that's a call to action. Yeah. But when you're saying, oh, this guy went to this guy's house and whoa, this happened, that's a joke.
Yes.
Everyone's like, oh, that's very insensitive. I'm like, that's just a joke.
Yes.
He's not actually saying, go to this person's house and rob them and shoot them. That's a call to action.
Yeah.
You're asking people to do something harmful. But when you're just saying a joke, it's just a joke.
A joke's a joke.
A joke's a joke. Even if it's funny or not funny, it's all on you. That is subjective. But it's just a joke.
You have to know your audience.
And some people say, oh, it's a lame excuse. It's just a joke. I'm like, honestly, it may be a lame excuse, but it's an excuse I'll stand by.
Yes.
I don't get it.
I do think there is a time and a place for jokes.
Yeah.
Especially bad jokes. There really is. Like, if you're at a funeral, you don't make a joke about the person. Again, though, you could if you know your crowd. If the person was very joking, it's like, okay, that really, because that's them.
Comedy can really save a lot of things, though.
Yes.
Like, my dad. Okay, I'll get a little personal. My dad passed away. I'd say about 6-7 years ago, and at my dad's funeral, it was not a funeral. We call it like a celebration of life.
Yes. And
we all joked around. It was all joking. Like, we didn't want a sad, depressing. That's what my dad didn't want, and none of us wanted.
That's okay though.
We all told jokes. I even told jokes about my dad.
Yeah.
I made my dad was very overweight.
Yeah.
So I made chubby jokes, and they thought it was funny.
Yes.
Because honestly, I told my dad fat jokes to him all the time. He thought it was hilarious.
But it's also a way of other people. Yeah. It's like healing and like move. You know what I mean?
But a lot of people say
cutting the tension.
Yeah. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're fat shaming." I'm like, my dad was
enormous. He's probably in heaven laughing his ass off.
He's enormously overweight, and honestly, that's what killed him. Because he was overweight. They couldn't do surgery on him because he had a problem with his heart.
Yes.
And because he was overweight. That's why I always stand by healthy living styles. Because being overweight can kill you. That's what killed my father. So when I made jokes about him, I thought it would help him lose weight. And it didn't.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't. But he never got offended. He thought it was funny.
Yes.
He made skinny jokes at me. He threw skinny jokes. Like, he's like, oh, you slip on a crack, you'll fall and disappear from the earth and shit like that. Like, he called me like, he's like, hey, I maybe look like a big pillow, but at least I don't look like a skinny 20-age crackhead. I'm like, hey, like, that was just, but it's all come to terms of comedy. I don't find comedy offensive.
I think it's important to have comedy and have a freedom of speech in comedy.
Of course.
But I also think there is a time and a place for certain things. So again, it's very gray. It's very, again, it's subjective. So it's,
I think Tropic Thunder holds up still.
I do.
I I think even a movie like Blazing Saddles, I think that still holds up.
Yes.
I know a lot of people now are talking about Blazing Saddles.
Well, because HBO just recently put a 3-minute thing before it, explained like this is a product of its time. One of the writers was a very prominent black comedian,
Richard Pryor.
Yes,
he wrote the movie.
Yeah, and so it's basically just saying like this is a product of its time. Some of the jokes are meant to be, they may be racially bad, but they even emphasize it's a satire, it's a parody.
I'm gonna say this.
So it is not saying like, oh, you shouldn't watch it. It's just saying like, just keep in mind that this isn't meant to be offensive. It's literally poking fun at the idea of being why people think it's offensive. The two main leads think it's ridiculous how everyone thinks it's offensive. Yeah. Right? And how you can't be sheriff, you're black, and they think that's ridiculous. The two like Gene Wilder and the actor,
Cleveland Little.
Yes.
Yeah.
They think that's even they acknowledge like, well, why can't it be? That's ridiculous, right? Yeah. But it's poking fun at the idea of people thinking like, oh, you can't do that because you're a certain color or a background.
I will say this.
So it's a very progressive film in that nature.
I do want to say this though. Just to play a little devil's advocate.
Yes.
I don't think you need that opening. I think people are smart. I like to assume people are, but I think people are smart. Some people, yes. I think HBO or whoever's putting that is not giving people credit. People know it's a product of its time.
Do you know why they're
people know though? I feel like yes.
Okay, so what they're doing is they're doing a preemptive action. They're trying to cover their butts because they're afraid that down the line somebody will mention something like, "Oh, well, this movie is offensive," or blah, and then it'll just start a wave. You know what I mean? A cancel culture, if you want to call it that. So what they're doing is they're doing like a preemptive action where they're going to put it there before anyone actually says anything to cover their butts in the future.
Can I ask you something? You don't have to answer this question.
Of course. Go for it.
You don't have to answer it.
Go for it.
Don't have to answer it.
Go for it.
Do you think Gone with the Wind is an offensive movie?
Okay.
If you don't want to answer, it's fine.
No, I'll answer.
Okay, just go ahead.
This is where, okay. Yeah. I can see where it is offensive because it is, okay, so how do I...
Take it down.
Personally?
Take it down.
No, okay, I think yes and no.
Yes and no? Okay.
Yes and no, and let me explain why.
Okay, go with the yes first. Then go with the no after.
Okay. I grew up... Okay, go with the yes first.
Yeah, go with the yes first.
So why I think it's offensive.
Why you think it's offensive?
So, to start off, it celebrates the South. And there's nothing wrong with that.
The Confederacy. Yeah.
Yes, but that's where it lies. There's nothing wrong with the South, but what the South represented at that time and what the Confederacy. That is where I see a big issue with that. Because you're celebrating what the Confederacy was built around. Yes. They romanticize the Confederacy. That's what I'm trying to say.
Kind of, yes.
So what the Confederacy was built around, just a very rough idea, is the idea that owning slaves is your right, and you can inherit them. You're essentially their property for them to work on the fields, and they're not seen as equal, which I think is an embarrassment on the history of the states. Of course, but that's a whole different topic. That's a loaded question. I think the Confederacy is the dumbest thing ever.
Yes.
I think that's where I can see there's a big issue.
So why no?
So why no? So
why no?
I grew up with the film personally. My mom loved the movie because it was a classic. Everyone knows the famous, the famous cool.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Exactly. It's very,
Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, it's a very romanticized movie. It's an epic, but the South, the war, all that. But you've seen it from their side. So I've kind of liked the movie growing up, but I've never really seen it through those eyes. Until recently, and I've started to re-look at it and go, oh, okay. So I saw it through more of like a nostalgic view, of like a movie buff view. So I like the movie. Yes, I think it's a good movie I think it's a good movie everyone should watch for educational purposes, for nostalgic purposes. But I also think that you should keep in mind that this was from my personal view, this was a movie. This is why I also support what HBO Max did, that thing at the beginning. Of course. So that I believe that this was a movie made of its time. It had different views. I think it's a movie, you shouldn't just take this away. I think you should show the movie. If you're just erasing history and pretend like it didn't happen, that's wrong. You need to see what others did and learn from it. And this is a good learning experience. I think it's a good movie, but I also think it is something that it has issues. But again, that was of its time, and I think it's good for people to watch that in that context. So what HBO is doing, I think, is a good idea. Yeah.
Gone with the Wind was my grandmother's favorite film of all time.
Exactly. You're right.
Favorite film.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, when she watched it, she never thought it was a racist movie.
Exactly.
She never thought of that like that.
Yeah.
I feel like, I could be wrong, this is just an opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like right now, especially now, of all times right now, in our economy right now, and just shit that's happening right now, I feel like some people are looking for things in everything in our culture, movies, TV shows, and they're just getting offended by almost everything. And again, I could be wrong, but I've never heard a lot of people say anything bad about Gone with the Wind until now. This movie was made in 1939.
Yes.
And now they're saying that it's bad and get rid of it and stuff. It's been on Netflix for a long time. It was one of the biggest Blu-ray sales when it came out on Blu-ray back in like 2009. Everyone was buying it. But now people are saying it's bad, and now, of all times, it's a little weird. I find it a little odd.
If you don't mind, I'd just like to say something.
Of course.
Well, I've, as you were saying, like a lot, I haven't really heard anything, people say anything bad about it. But then recently, I rewatched it actually, and I can see where the issues are. But again, I'm a white guy, so I'm used to seeing it that way from that perspective.
You can still have your opinion. So
yeah, but I guess I never realized from a different viewpoint, like an African American standpoint,
of course,
watching the film, how that would feel to them seeing it like that. So again, I'm very open. So that's why when I rewatched it this time, I sat through those, and I'm like, okay, I see where there's issues now. I see how this could be offensive or like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I get that now.
Maybe one day, maybe not now. Maybe one day we can get. Maybe I know a lot of YouTubers, so I know even a lot of Black YouTubers.
Yes.
Maybe we can get one of them on the show.
Oh yeah.
And I can get their point of view.
I would like that. Yeah.
And because I knew some Black people that actually love the movie Gone with the Wind, so it's interesting. Yeah. But I know some people think it's offensive. So
it all comes down to a personal.
It is all a personal opinion. So, all I gotta say,
if you feel that it hurts you, then your voice should be heard. I agree.
I think I should stand by this. If someone loves the film, people shouldn't label them a racist person or a hateful person
because they might
because they don't see it that way.
No,
they don't.
It's fine. There was an episode of The Golden Girls.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever seen it.
No, I've never watched Golden Girls.
What is the name of the Golden Girl? The one she's the one who always sleeps with a lot of men. Who am I thinking of? Not the Betty White one. Not the motherly one. The stern one. Not the one who was the mother lived with her. The old lady. But the other one. The southern one.
Is that the one that's in Star Wars Holiday Special?
No. That's I forget.
B. Arthur.
Yeah, not B. Arthur.
Not B. Arthur.
The other one. Not Betty White. Not B. Arthur. The other one.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but I never watched the show.
Though. I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so
I never watched the show.
There's an episode where she is holding this party.
Okay.
I guess like a reunion type thing, and all those Southern people, and she has this black friend.
Okay.
Who's the younger one, and
yeah.
So she's gonna dress like a Southern belle,
Southern belle,
Southern comfort, like all. So it's like okay, you're being proud of what your culture, your history, right? As you should.
Mm-hmm.
So at the party, she's laying out the Confederate flag.
Oh, okay.
And her black friend sees the flag, and he's like, I can't be a part of this party. She doesn't understand why, and she's like, you know how I feel, what the pain I go through, and seeing that flag. To me personally, he's saying that it hurts me. It reminds me of my history. I find it offensive. She doesn't understand why he finds it offensive because to her, it's seen as like, all she has is good memories with that flag. Mm-hmm. Not like the, because this is, the history. Slavery was way before all that, but to her growing up, that was just part of their culture. So she doesn't see. So the whole point of the episode is he's trying to show her what he sees and what it represents to him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I can't be around this. And she doesn't understand, but she feels bad that it hurts him. And she goes out of her way to figure out why it does. And then when he tells her, she starts to see it in a different light. And she even tells him, she's like, to me, I see good memories with that. But like you as a person. I don't want to hurt you, and I
Mhm.
want you to feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
So in the end, she does take it down because she does, instead of being defensive, she is defensive at first, but then she learns to say, okay, tell me how it makes you feel and why. She learns to open up and see other people's viewpoints. And to me, that's a very powerful episode because instead of just like, it's good to be, to honor your history, but it's also good to hear what others have to say too and be open to change.
Yes.
And so in the end, she does change, I believe. And yeah. But she's open to, because to him, it is hurting him, and that makes her feel really bad. But she doesn't, again, she has a different viewpoint.
Yes.
She doesn't see that as racist, because to her, that's just family memories, the South, the flag, that's what you did.
Yes.
But to him, he sees a whole different side, and she learns to open up and see that side and say, okay, I'm starting to understand, and okay, I will, if this makes, to make you feel better, and I will take that down, and I am sorry.
Yeah.
And it's a very powerful episode. And yeah.
Do you know what I like about that, what you just said? They talked.
Exactly.
They talked.
They did. Not at first, but after they did, yes.
I feel like that's very timely right now, especially right now.
Yeah, a lot of people don't talk, which is a shame. If they just
right now, things are bad right now.
Oh, yes.
And do you know what the biggest problem is? People aren't talking.
No. Communication is, there is,
Screaming's not talking, by the way.
Yeah.
I see people on two different sides, and even if someone's on the wrong side, instead of yelling at them, talk to them and try to change their mind. They're probably very misguided people.
Yes.
And you need to talk to them and change their mind.
And I can understand when people talk to them, they don't listen. It does get frustrating. It does lead to screaming. I completely get that.
Yes.
What also people have to remember is communication is key, but you also have to be open to listening.
Yeah.
And trying to understand, like, step into their shoes.
Yeah.
How does it make them feel? Come to a compromise. But actually talking is one part, is 50% of it, but then actually being able to open up to that and receive that.
There's a clip people should watch right now. It's Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon in Avengers. Smart guy.
I like him.
He did a movie called Black and White, I think it's called. I never watched it because it didn't look very interesting to me, but Anthony Mackie did an interview with a girl. And what he says is very smart, and people should watch this clip. I'll put the link for the clip down in this video. He talks about race, and he says a lot of people are afraid to talk about race. He's saying they shouldn't be afraid. He says people need to be more open to conversation.
Oh, yes.
He says, I talk to a lot of people, and he's like, and a lot of people pander to black people. He's like, they shouldn't. He says, don't pander to us. Treat us as your equal. And he's like, and I see a lot of people who are very racist. And he says, and Anthony Mackie's like, I've met people like that. He says, I don't yell at them. He's like, you know what? I try to talk to them and find out why. He's like, because a lot of it, it's their upbringing. They're raised that way.
They don't see it as, yes.
And he's like, Anthony Mackie's like, I don't get angry at them. I feel sorry for them.
Yes.
And he's like, I was like, you know what I tried to do? I tried to help them. Try to guide them into a better life.
Yeah.
And the way he talks, he's like, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. They want to yell and scream about it. He's like, but they don't want to talk about it. And Anthony Mackie, everything Anthony Mackie says, it's very, very intelligent, very inspirational too. What he says, we're all the same.
Yeah,
we're all the same.
I haven't seen the movie, but I will check it out.
Yeah.
It actually reminded me of this story I heard. I was reading on like this article on Vice or something, and I don't know a lot about it, but from what I remember, there is this African American man who has basically converted. I think it was like 50 to 150 Ku Klux Klan members away from the Klan. And reading him, and he was talking about some of the stories, and a lot of them, and he's very patient with them.
Of course.
He just goes and
you got to be.
He just goes and talks to them.
Yes.
And some of them very hostile to them,
yes.
which is understandable, because that is, and just from talking to them and showing them, like, I'm a person.
Yeah.
And from what he learned is what they're taught is pretty like they're savages, they're animals. They have a lower IQ than,
they're just
white people.
They're just misinformed.
Exactly.
They're misguided.
But then when he talks to them and they're like, oh, they start to realize, like, oh, maybe what I've learned is not. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Yeah. But he has converted, I think it was like 50 to 150 people from the Klan.
Yeah.
And some of them even calls good friends.
Of course.
But he literally will just go and talk to them.
Yeah.
And again, some were hostile at first.
Of course.
Very cliche, but but a lot of them have, over time, they start to realize, like, hey, you're just like me.
Of course.
So what I've learned about you people is, wrong.
Because they're all people too.
Yes.
Good or bad, we're all people.
They think that that's okay, but you know,
even bad people can change.
Oh yeah,
bad people can change.
except for Hitler.
Except for Hitler. Well, he's dead, so.
I hope so.
But everyone can change.
Oh yeah.
People, usually bad people like that, they're very just misguided.
Yeah.
Maybe ill, maybe not educated.
Yeah.
And they're just How about we get off this?
This is a very heavy, loaded.
Very heavy.
Yes.
How about we get something more a little upbeat now?
Yes.
Do you have an upbeat topic on your mind?
Ooh. What do you think? What do you got?
How about this? To almost nearly end this off, how about we talk about one thing I love is overrated and underrated stuff.
Right.
Overrated. I love talking about overrated and underrated because it's not the norm opinion. So we'll talk about we'll do a movie and we'll do a video game and we'll do a television show too. How about this? A little overrated. Okay. I'll start it off. We'll do a video game first. Overrated video game for me. I think Fortnite's an easy answer. Let's not go Fortnite.
Damn, I was gonna go with that.
Okay. This will get a lot of people. Grand Theft Auto.
Really?
I'm not a Grand Theft Auto fan.
Really?
I don't know what it is. I'm not for that kind of stuff. The one I didn't mind was Vice City. That was kind of cool.
That's
pretty
one of my favorite. I would love to see a revamp of that.
Maybe it's because I'm just really bad at the games, but like jacking cars, shooting up people, it's cool and all, but I just can't get into them.
See, I'm the opposite. I love them.
I'm
still waiting for the.
I'm not calling them bad games.
You're just calling them overrated.
A little overrated.
Okay.
I'm not calling them bad. They're not bad. The funny thing is, I haven't played enough to call them bad.
Okay.
I played Vice City, San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 5. So basically the three biggest ones.
So after that, you feel like they've just been overrated.
So I played San Andreas. That was
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I played Vice City. Vice City was pretty good.
I like them all.
Vice City was good.
Right.
Fucking Magnum PI, sure. That was badass. But
very inspired by Miami Vice.
Grand Theft Auto 5 had cool characters, but I just couldn't get into it. Personally.
I remember that came out when I was in high school, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then 6, I think, is my favorite. Besides behind San Andreas and Vice City. So for me,
what's an overrated game for you?
Overrated. Okay.
Overrated.
This is an easy one.
Last of Us 2.
Oh no. Underrated. So overrated. I would have to say. Oh boy. So this might offend some people, but it's fine. Fuck it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins.
Damn. I agree on Origins.
The whole after Black Flag, I think it just went downhill.
Yeah.
Just because they had to pump it out like every other year and it was rushed and they do get buggy. And they just I don't know, they feel like prototype games to me.
Oh, okay.
I think
like the game prototype. You ever played that game?
Oh, I did actually. Yeah. It was like 2007.
Yeah.
The art.
Okay.
I feel like there is a good game in there. I heard, it's just okay. Here's the thing: the story's good. I've heard and everything. I did play a bit. It's the gameplay I don't like. The mechanics. I do not. There's just something about it. I don't. It feels like it's like a beta game.
Okay.
Like it was never. You know what I mean? They had to rush out. They had a deadline.
Yeah.
Like okay, it's fine. And you've experienced bugs with it.
Okay.
Like the horse riding.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
But
that's fine.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The one thing that pisses me off is the horseback riding. Riding the fucking horse is so annoying. When you hit a tree, it just kind of just stays in this one spot.
From playing,
what is happening?
See, from playing The Last of Us Part 2 when you're riding a horse, it is.
Or Red Dead 2.
Yeah, it is the most It's the most realistic experience. It's great. It's so lifelike. And then you go to Assassin's Creed, it's like this feels like this came out 10 years ago. Like it feels so rudimentary.
I'll say this: Red Dead 2 is probably got some of the coolest horse. When you ride a horse,
the best game, yes.
When you ride a horse in Red Dead 2, it's like you're actually riding a fucking horse. When you fling off that horse, you're like flying 80 feet. It's crazy. It's
and
nuts.
You die.
Yeah,
that's exactly how you'd snap your neck and die.
Also, the thing about Assassin's Creed Odyssey with the horse riding, you can only go a certain speed, but in Red Dead 2, you just tap X and you're just going faster and faster and faster, and you're flying around a horse almost. It's crazy how fast you can go on a horse because horses can go fast.
Yes. So now, underrated game. Do you want me to
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is a movie. Sorry, not a movie. This is a game that came out 2010, 2009.
Yeah.
It's a game. which some of you older listeners might know. It's called Alan Wake.
Great game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would call it. I wouldn't say it's underrated then. I would say it's underrated now.
Now
Because a
for the
lot
new
of people-
generation, no one's heard of it.
Because we even asked Lindsay, I'm like, have you ever heard Alan Wake? She's like, no.
Of course.
It's a great game. I think it still holds up. Yes. So that's my pick. It is just if you've
Underrated. Yeah.
yes.
You know what's an underrated game for me? No one's heard of this fucking game. This came out in like 1998.
So it is underrated. Okay.
1998 RPG called The Legend of the Dragoon. The Legend of the Dragoon was an RPG, almost like medieval Final Fantasy looking game.
Yeah.
People have like it's about like these like people who can contain souls of dragons, and it's basically about a guy named Dart, and he has to rescue his old friend because she has like this power of a goddess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a game that looks a little dated now. That's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at it now on Google. This it does look a bit dated, but ooh,
Great game.
whoa, 97% liked it. Okay.
It's a fantastic game. So fucking. This is a game.
Sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah, this game is a game I'd love to have a remake, like a PS5 or PS4 remake of it.
Yeah.
Because it's so old, but I don't know because I know there's some people that try to sign petitions for it, but I don't think they'll get enough people because a lot of people didn't play it when it came out.
Yeah.
No one even heard of it when it came out. So
See, that'd be a good game for a remake on like PS5 or something.
Yeah.
But like a surprise announcement because
Yeah.
like the OG fans be like, woo, but everyone's be like, oh, now I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If they announce that Legend of Dragoon is getting remade, I'd be like, fucking holy shit!
Or be like a spiritual sequel or something.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to a movie. We know movies, so what's an overrated movie? Just random overrated movie that is very loved, and you're looking around the poster. Don't look at the posters.
I gotta think about this one now.
Movie that's loved and you don't understand. Like it's not for you.
Okay, this is one I've seen the movie a couple times. It's
Oh no! Don't go with what I think you're gonna go with.
don't say it, but it's a movie. It's a very celebrated movie. I think the movie's good. I don't understand the great appeal of it. It's Risky Business.
What? No.
I think it's a good movie, but it's not like, oh my god.
I think it's oh my god. I love it.
I think it's good. I would definitely watch it.
I thought you were gonna go with Grease.
No. I didn't like Grease, but I've come to like Grease.
Okay. Grease is the word.
Okay. All right. So overrated for you.
Overrated. I have a lot. Do you know what's an overrated? Hold on. I don't want to go with the insulting choices. So.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. Pixar movie. A Bug's Life.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Good Dinosaur.
No, that movie's kind of like divisive.
It
like
feels like it was never.
It's like a 69 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's very kind of eh.
So Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life's at
overrated.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Really?
8.1 on IMDb. So very loved film. I don't understand why people love it so
I
much.
think Kevin Spacey's a good villain, but that's another conversation.
I just don't think it's that great of a movie though. I don't get it. There's nothing. The story isn't that
It's been a
interesting.
while since I've seen it. From what I can remember, I think you're kind of right.
Yeah,
Compared to their other works, I think it is.
they did Toy Story just before that, and that was like amazing.
That was big though. Yeah.
Yeah, it was big, huge, great movie. I actually think Ants is better.
Oh yeah.
I think Ants, the Woody Allen.
Woody Allen.
Yeah, the Woody Allen who plays the ant. Stallone's in that movie. Christopher Walken as a bad guy. That's just
I think it's a
great.
great movie, but Woody Allen, how I feel about him, that's another conversation.
Oh yeah, I like his
So-
work by him as a human. Yeah,
No.
but that movie Ants, I actually don't mind that movie Ants. The reason I don't mind Ants is because it shows how small the ants are and how big and scaled the other bugs are.
Yes.
In A Bug's Life, all the bugs are the same size.
Yeah.
Ladybugs and ants aren't the same size. Grasshoppers and ants aren't
I
the
like
same
the Tropic
size.
Circus though. That was good. From what
They
I
were-
remember.
They were the best part. Like David I. Pierce is one of them. Like
Oh yeah, that's right.
he's I think he's the caterpillar or something. But I don't think the movie's great. I think Ants is a much better film, and the movie is a very praised Pixar film.
Yes.
I don't get it. I don't understand the love. I think it's just kind of meh. I saw it in theaters when I was a kid, and even as a kid, I didn't love it.
Interesting. Okay, so
Underrated movie.
underrated movie. Okay, this
movie
is
that needs more love.
Okay, I got a bunch. I like cult films.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention The Room because that is
That
not
doesn't
underrated. That's
count.
reached a whole.
That's
new level.
guilty pleasure.
Yes.
That's not Underrated.
So I'm not gonna say that because I wouldn't even call it underrated because everyone's heard that now.
Yeah. That's guilty pleasure.
Yes. So for an underrated movie, I'm gonna go with a personal favorite of mine, and it's with Weird Al Yankovic. It's called UHF.
What is it called?
UHF.
UHF.
Yeah,
okay.
Literally those three.
Okay.
And it is just such.
Please explain a little because I bet no one's heard of this movie.
Okay, so it was made in the 80s. It stars Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al Yankovic.
And essentially, it's a very simple premise, but the whole idea of the movie is, he's essentially like a 20-something-year-old, and I think his uncle or something, essentially gives him a TV station. Unlike this is back when like you had cable TV, so like Channel 2, Channel 3.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was a very local owned cable television network. Think of like Wayne's World, how they have their own channel.
Yeah.
Very local, like in the community. Yeah. Something like that. So except it was actually in the studio. So essentially the whole goal of the movie is, one of the goals is, so he has to fill up the prime time. So like, so what am I going to put on the channel? Mm-hmm. So essentially these people come in, they audition, and like they have all these skits, which are actually pretty freaking funny even today. Mm-hmm. Michael Richards is in the movie, who played Kramer.
Oh, Kramer. Yeah.
He plays a janitor who literally, what you know how when you're a kid, like, what do you want to be, an astronaut or whatever? Through his whole life, he wanted to be a janitor.
Okay.
And he loves his mop.
What the fuck?
This, like, when they take away his mop, one part, because he works for this other corporation, which owns like a whole bunch of channels. And so they're actually the villains in the movie. So they fire him early on in the movie, and they take away his mop, and he has like a total meltdown. Which is pretty funny. So, and I think he goes to work for Weird Al, and essentially the one thing he asks for is a mop. Not even money, just a mop. He's like, okay. He gives him a mop. He's like,
okay.
And it's just, oh my god. And all the skits on the show are great. So essentially the villain of the movie is this corporation. And it is literally the most evilest, snarkiest villain ever.
Kind of like the villain in Blazing Saddles.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's so over the top corny, but...
is it like a spoof?
Yes.
Okay.
He spoofs everything within the opening minutes of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay.
And these aren't just cheap. These are literally shop for shop.
Can you show me a clip of the Rambo?
Yeah, essentially they put on this like muscle, because he didn't actually get it, but he puts on the muscle suit and he looks like Rambo, and he's literally just shooting at bows and they explode like nuts.
Yeah.
And it is so hilarious. It knows what it is. It's like Hot Shots.
I love Hot Shots.
If you like that type of spoof, this feels like that. And it is just such a funny fucking movie.
Yeah. So we'll just recommend it.
10 for 10 would recommend UHF.
Okay.
Literally, it's just that. Google it if you can. My God, it's a gem.
It's a funny film.
You will find, if you like Hot Shots or whatever, you will love this movie.
Okay, you know what? You said you're going with the comedy. I'm going to go with the comedy.
Okay.
The Great Outdoors.
Oh!
Underrated.
Oh my goodness.
Underrated.
You got the two Canadian legends.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
That's right.
If you love camping, best movie to watch camping.
Just, if you love comedy, but yeah, it's just
no one talks about it. It's on Netflix now.
It is. John Hughes actually produced it.
Yeah, John Hughes. This movie is funny. It's funny.
I grew up watching this movie.
It's very funny.
It's so quotable.
It's not even a well-received movie critically.
If you look on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got like 50-something. I think it should be like a 90-something.
It's funny.
It's got heart.
Yeah.
It's not just like fart jokes. There's not really any of those.
I think anyone who's ever lived in the...
It's scary.
Yeah, I think anyone who's lived in like the wilderness, the woods...
I grew up in the country, so
they could probably relate a lot to a lot of things that happen here.
And I grew up on a lake, so this...
Because it's a comedy, they obviously overplay a little bit. They dramatize it because they get the laughs, get the slapstick.
But they are funny, though.
Yeah. Because they want to get the slapstick and the one-liners, but it's a funny movie.
Yes.
They're likable characters.
Yeah.
You love these guys, and it's just funny.
Yes.
Every scenario they go through is just funny.
You can relate to it because you're like, I get that.
Yeah.
Like the water skiing or whatever, or like, and just the fishing, and they, fall asleep on the boat because they wake up like, gotta wake up at 5 a.m. to go fishing.
It's got heart.
Like,
it's got heart.
They wake up and they got leeches on them on the boat. They're like, that's relatable. But yeah, it's got heart. There's a romance in it. There's some scary, like him and the bear.
Yeah.
When he's telling the bear story, as a kid, that terrified me. And it's just a funny freaking movie. Oh, the steak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Won't spoil it, but
Okay.
man,
Do you know that
12 answer, whatever. Yeah.
they don't make movies nowadays about the wilderness and about outdoors,
I
like
think the
camping?
closest thing you had was Daddy's Home 2.
Ugh.
Which is that's the only thing I can
Okay.
think of that's even
I don't know if you-
same universe.
Tell me if you've heard this movie.
Yes.
This movie is trash. It's one of the worst comedies I've ever seen. It's called Strange Wilderness.
Isn't it with
Steve Zahn, Jonah Hill, Justin
I
Long.
never saw it, but I heard of it and I did not hear
It is one of the worst
Yes.
things I've ever seen.
Yes.
It basically said that they like saw a movie like Great Outdoors and tried to make a comedy and kind of like it, but just fail. Just utterly fail. It is a failure of a film and a failure of comedy.
The great thing about the Great Outdoors, one, it's produced by John Hughes.
John Hughes, very, very great, great.
Didn't write or anything, but it is produced by him. Where was I going with this? Right. So one of the great things is you have two great comedic leads.
Mhm.
You got one who's from, Dan Aykroyd, who's from SNL,
Mhm.
and very well known. Then you have John Candy, who's on the Canadian version of like SNL, which was Second City.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Is Dan Aykroyd from Barrie, Ontario?
No.
Or is he from
No. He is
Oshawa?
it's Ontario.
Yeah, it's Ontario.
Yeah, he is born because he has grandparents who live in
I forget where he's from.
I'm gonna Google it now.
Google it, yeah.
But John Candy, I think was both of them lived in Toronto
Okay.
back in the 70s. Because they were part of the comedy group. Except Dan Aykroyd went to the
SNL.
States to,
That's
to go for SNL.
Yeah.
I think John Candy was invited at one, but he stuck with like Eugene Levy and stuff because they all did like and what was her name from
Catherine O'Hara.
she's from
Yeah.
Second State, so they all know each other.
All funny people.
Yeah. Oh, God.
All very funny
They all
people.
went on to do great things.
I've never seen Schitt's Creek yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got the last season to go and wait till it comes on Netflix. But my goodness, is it a great, funny show?
Is it a Canadian show?
Oh yes, actually, the hotel where they shot it is actually just about an hour from here.
Okay.
They only they shot it, and it's very Canadian. You got Catherine O'Hara, who was great. You got Eugene Levy, who was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
His son is a co-writer and co-creator on the show,
Mhm.
and he actually plays his son in the show. It's great.
Yeah.
It is very good. Highly would recommend. So
Yeah.
yes, Dan
While
Aykroyd.
you're Googling that, we're talking about Schitt's Creek, and now we can get to the television.
Here we go. He was actually born in Ottawa, Ontario.
Ottawa.
Yes.
Oshawa. It's kind of close to Oshawa.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, this is our last thing we're gonna do, and then we're gonna end it. Television, overrated, underrated.
The Kardashians.
No, that does not. No one likes that crap.
People do. They keep making it.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with them. Okay, I'll tell you what I think is overrated.
You go first. I
A
got
lot of people love this show.
Oh no.
It's That 70s Show.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Watchmen.
No.
Oh, great show.
I'm gonna go with That 70s Show because it's still it ended a long time ago, but still people love this show. I don't get it. I don't think it's funny.
Okay.
A lot of people like this show, That 70s Show, and it's on Netflix, and it's still on Netflix because people like it. I don't get it. I don't think it's funny.
Okay.
I think one person's funny in the show, Kurtwood Smith, who plays Red. I think he's pretty funny.
Him and Kid, they're the only people I like in the show.
Yeah.
Because he's funny.
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher is one of the most annoying people I don't know what he's like as a person. I heard he's kind of scummy anyways, but him as an actor, I think he's annoying. I think him as a comedian is even more annoying. I think he's the most irritating thing in that whole show.
I kind of agree with you.
I think Mila Kunis is very annoying. I like Mila Kunis, but
I think she's the greatest person.
she is so irritating in that show.
But I think that was her character too.
Yeah. Hyde could have been funny, but he's got this bland performance, and I don't like it. Topher Grace could have been funny, but I don't think any of his jokes.
I don't like him.
Fez. Fez is this.
Do you know what I found out what Fez stands for recently? It's not actually named Foreign Exchange Student.
Oh.
Fez.
Oh.
I saw that somewhere and it blew my mind. I'm like, oh, that's really because he's a foreign exchange student, but they didn't know, so they call him Fez. And I'm like, okay.
I don't know. I don't think the show's funny.
Okay.
When it comes to comedy, it's not funny.
So you have a big show that you find overrated.
Yeah.
Mine is even bigger and still going, and that is Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
When I was a kid, I thought it was funny. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you got the fart jokes, you got everything, fat jokes, drunk jokes, everything, right? I thought Stewie was great. Brian was great. Everybody was great. As I got older, I found the show to be really
Stupid.
Yes, that's a good word for it. I found it to be
Stupid?
so dumb and just repetitive.
Yeah.
It felt like the same jokes over and over. I'm just like, this is just not. I don't find it funny. I found Here's the thing. With a good example of South Park, I think South Park grew. Weirdly enough, you know what I mean? They adapted.
I'm not a South Park fan, but that movie was great.
Bigger, longer.
Oh god, that was a funny movie.
Yeah.
Also, that joke they did about, I don't want to talk about it, the Macho Man Randy Savage joke.
Oh yeah.
I was dying of that joke. What it's making, I won't talk about it, but what it's making fun of is funny. It's offensive, but funny.
Yes. Oh yeah, I got a little flack for it, but my goodness.
Oh my god, that's funny.
It's good to laugh at yourself once in a while,
Yeah.
but actually, that's an idea for for episode 3.
Yeah.
We're going to, as a little tease, we're going to talk about WWE, our favorite wrestlers, so on and so forth.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about it. So that is a topic to look forward to for episode 3. That's
One last thing. Underrated.
underrated show.
Underrated show.
Ooh.
What's a show that a lot of people don't know about and they should watch? Quickly.
Okay, quickly, I'm going to go with a lot of people didn't watch it. Watchmen. I know it's a show that you watched, but you didn't like it.
Nah.
You didn't. I felt it was just a great. It's my favorite show. I hope it wins the was it Emmys?
Emmys, yeah.
Yeah. I hope it wins because I think it will. It's won a Peabody Award for
Mhm.
writing, which you don't see a lot. It is just a very well made show. It's my favorite Damien Lindelof show.
Mhm.
It's just so good. God, I think Jeremy Irons is great in the show. I won't say who he plays, but he plays a very big character from the comics. It essentially, the show is a sequel to the original Watchmen comic. So not the movie, but the Watchmen comic, everything that happened to that is canon in the show.
I actually like the movie.
The movie's good, but it does change some things, like especially at the end, how there's this. It's actually an EMP blast that blasts.
I know.
Whereas in the comic,
Squid.
it's a galactic squid, which actually was created by Ozymandias to make it look like aliens were attacking. Which is a good idea. So eventually, the villain does win in a weird way. So it does change, and it does change certain aspects. But literally, they're fit and they change how they look too. Like they modernize their costumes. Whereas in the show, they keep the exact look of everything that was, even the squid. It feels like a great, what would happen in this world if things moved on. Also, they don't have cell phones in the show, even though it does take place in modern day, because in the Watchmen comic, that technology wasn't around, so it just never progressed. And there are just certain other things, like you do see blimps in the air, because again, those are in the original comics. We don't see. It is a very alternate world. Ronald Reagan. Who am I thinking of?
Nixon?
No, Robert Redford is president in the show because
Robert Redford.
Because in the original graphic novel, they're saying you read that a character saying I heard Redford is running for president, and so then they changed the constitution where he's been president for 15 years now because of it, and it feels like a natural progression of the show or the comic, and there's a whole nother conspiracy, and it feels very much like. Oh, and another thing is Vietnam becomes a state of America because in the comic, because of Dr. Manhattan, America won the war.
Right.
So and you do see that it becomes the 53rd state. I'm thinking. Yeah, because how many states are in America now?
50.
See, okay, so it becomes the 51st or 52nd state.
Got it.
So Saigon becomes very American. It's very interesting, and I won't say anything more about the show, but I highly recommend it. Yes. It is on. It's on Crave if you're in Canada.
Yeah.
That's how I watched it. Amazing. Go ahead.
I watched a couple episodes. Just couldn't get into it.
That's all right.
Didn't like it.
It's my personal mission to get you to finish it.
Yes.
Yes.
To end up my underrated. My underrated is a mini series with Tom Hiddleston and Hugh Laurie called The Night Manager.
Oh yes.
The Night Manager is terrific. A lot of people didn't watch it. A lot of people still have never even heard of it. Terrific spy show, really good, very well written. It's oh my god, what the fuck's the author's name?
Oh, it's that spy author, John LeClaire, because he wrote Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Most Wanted Man.
He is the king of espionage, Cold War, spy novels.
Yeah, almost more so than Tom Clancy.
100% more, because this guy wrote some of the best ones.
Yeah, John LeClaire, great. Yeah. I love John LeClaire's movies, and this is a John LeClair TV show and terrific. It's a bit of a slow burn at times, but when it keeps going, some more twists happen, especially with Hugh Laurie's character. Hugh Laurie's a very good villain in the show. Tom Hiddleston's terrific. It's a great show. It's only like 7 episodes, and it's terrific. Though.
There's another show that was made by Park Chan-wook. Who am I thinking of? He's a famous Asian director. Oh, I forget what he directed, but it actually is based on a John LeClair novel. It's called The Little Drummer Boy.
Oh, I never saw it.
And they made a great show of it, and he directed all the episodes. And
are you talking about Cary Fujiaka or
no.
The
Little.
Are you googling it?
I'm sorry. The Little. Oh no! Wait. Hold on. I'm just trying to Google it here.
You're trying to Google it?
Yeah.
I wish I could help you. I don't know what you're talking about though.
Oh, that's all right. Anyway, don't worry about it. But yeah,
don't worry about it. Okay.
It's called
But yeah, I think this is a good time to end off.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
On episode 3, WWE.
WWE. Oh,
Yeah.
we'll talk about some WWE. We can talk about some wrestling movies that I like.
Yes.
There's one in particular that's very underrated. I'm going to talk about it though next time though. This is very underrated.
We'll compare what classic WD to now.
Yeah. Like WCW, WWF.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I will stuff for next time.
Yeah. Video games. You play the video games?
Oh yeah, every year, man.
Okay. So next week will be like a wrestling, maybe a couple other things too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan, I'm gonna end us off. But anything else you want to say before?
No, I think we've basically covered everything. And I'm looking forward to that WWE.
Okay.
Our little match.
This one was a lot longer, but I think we talked a lot about a lot of cool things, and I think this was better than the first episode. Right. I think we got a lot more deep with this, and that's why I always wanted to go deeper, more layered, conversations. And that's the point of this podcast. We speak our minds, and try not to offend people. But if people do get offended, just let us know.
Yeah. You can expect to see these listen to these podcasts. Weekly, every Friday, we're aiming to publish them. So it's something to look forward to every Friday. Yeah,
we film them a couple days before, but then we try to put it on a specific date. But look forward to next week. And everyone, have a great week. Stay safe out there. Wear your mask. Obey the law. And enjoy yourself. Take care.